Hare Krishna devotees. Hare Krishna everybody.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. 1 week looks so long. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So we completed our love letter, but the love letter is never complete, no? Because the process is just not, it's just the initiation which we did in the 9th chapter. So 10th chapter, is going to be something different, opulences. Why so? So first is like the formal letter which Krishna is giving in the 9th chapter. And in the 10th chapter, and he explains what it is all about. Yes? Hare Krishna. So please keep yourself muted. So here in the 10th chapter, he is talking more about himself, about his, how does he go about his qualities, what are his opulences. He did give a glimpse of it in the 7th chapter, but he's going to talk in detail so that what he is telling is, okay, I know it's going to take time for you to come. But until then, all this which you're there, you're in the material world. And since you're stuck in the material world, until you come here, let me give you my memories in various forms so that I'll explain to you. So let's dive in. Before that, let's start off with Mangalacharan and then I'll take you through. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanattimurandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Khadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare
So
Krishna.
let's assume that somebody is going to, marry, somebody in a particular company or a group of companies, right? So let's assume that the name of the company is ABC Enterprises, and the company is so big and has so many branches, right? So you just got a proposal and you are contemplating on it as usual. But what will happen every time you see that company? That ABC company, what will come? The first thing which will come in your mind is the love letter, the person, right? So that will be your thought flow. So today, Krishna is talking about that. Krishna today is telling that I have so many opulences. And so what is, what is the vibhuti or opulence actually mean? He's talking about his own qualities, and he's also going to bring about a lot of other things which can relate you, or rather in the material world, many of you tell that I can't see Krishna eye to eye. Yes, because we are pure devotees. So Krishna is going to tell, yes, you can. Because if you know what am I and where I am in and where and all I am present, then you can actually start seeing me or thinking of me completely, right? So we saw in the 8th chapter, right? In terms of what all, what should we do? And 9th chapter also we saw, Ananya Chinte Antoma, right? All the time you keep thinking of me. So if I have to think all the time, how can I, right? So Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter talks about the opulences of the absolute. So just imagine the first one is just like a letter, and this is like a complete resume book, right? Which has complete details of Krishna. For that, let's pay our obeisances to Shishi Radhe Govinda. I'm keeping unmute option active, so please check your mic. And whoever wants to read can have your hand raised. Hare Krishna. Just a quick summary of the 9th chapter between 9.1 and 9.3. He's talking about hearing about Krishna, qualification and disqualification. So what is the qualification to hear about Krishna? Come on, you can unmute and tell me what is the qualification we read in the in the 9th chapter. What is it?
Non-envious.
Thank you so much, Kirti Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, non-envious, right? So basically, absolutely zero envy. So that is what he says. What is the Sanskrit word for non-envy?
Anasuya.
Sorry, Mataji, I didn't hear you. Come back.
Anasuya.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Anasuya. So absolutely non-envious. So these are the two. This is one quality he brings up in the 9th chapter. But what are the two qualities he said in the 2nd chapter for picking up Krishna, for picking up Arjuna as his as a Sishya, for discipline succession, for
Friend and devotee.
Yes, very good. Friend and devotee, right? Bhakta or Saki, right? So both he is having. So therefore, this 9th chapter completes. So why? So is he changing the platform? Is he telling initially friend devotee now? No. It's basically as you scale up, he gives a explanation and keeps adding. Just like I always tell, 2 plus 2 in LKG is 4. 2 plus 2 in college also is 4. But what you don't know is 2 into 2 is also 4. 2 squared is also 4, right? So those concepts are introduced. So what Krishna does, he keeps adding the concept slowly and steadily so that, it's not too heavy in the first line itself, right? And between 4 and 10, we saw Aishwarya Jnana. So the opulences of Krishna are so high, right? And we saw the Achinta Veda philosophy. So what is the philosophy? It is basically whatever you talk about Krishna for non-devotees is like apparent contradictions, right? It seems like not possible, everything seems weird. But on the face of it, it may sound like that. For the devotees, it's so nice. And we did talk about the story of the cobbler, who was a staunch, hardcore devotee of Krishna, as against Brahmana, who appeared to be a devotee, but he had a lot of doubts, right? So when we believe in Krishna, we should not believe blindly, but believe confidently, right? It's not that the cobbler did not know anything. He did have a lot of jnana. Right? So even Prabhupada says that every time you preach, you give reference. Every time you ask whether the discipline succession is correct, you do those inquiries. But then the belief part of it, once you surrender, it's clear, right? There's no confusion in between. Hare Krishna. And on between 11 and 15, he is talking about the worshippers and non-worshippers. So in the 7th chapter, we saw 4 types of neophytes, right? So what are they in the 7th chapter?
Distress, who was coming distress, knowledge,
Jnani and Jigyasu.
Yes, thank you so much. Jignasu was Sanskrit, rest was English. Someone in Sanskrit, all words. Hare Krishna.
Artho Adhati Jnani Jigyasu.
Thank you so much. So these are the 4 kinds of worshippers for neophytes. So neophyte, another name for neophyte is?
Sukritinas.
Sorry?
Sukritinas?
No.
Kanishtadhikari.
Kanishtadhikari. Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry. I thought you was asking about the 4.
That's okay. Thanks for trying, Mataji. So another name is Kanishtadhikari. So if there is something called Kanishtadhikari, are there many other people? So Kanishtadhikari is a neophyte, which means he's the beginning state. So what is the middle state and what is the higher state? Hare Krishna.
Madhyamadhikari.
Uttamadhikari.
Yes, thank you, Sakshi
Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari, Mataji.
Yes, so based on the level of faith, you have 3 categorizations. So don't be so there are 3 kind of categorization: Uttamadhikari highest, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishtadhikari. And at Kanishtadhikari, all of us neophytes will enter at Kanishta, and we will have one of the 4 things, which is Artha, Arthati, Jignashu, and Jnani, right? So this talks about the devotee. We are very clear about it. Now we will keep this in one corner. Let's move to a non-devotee. So what are the 4 types of non-devotees discussed in chapter 7?
Naradhama.
Buddhas.
Naradhama.
Naradhama,
Atheist
And
Asuri Bhava Mashrita.
Asura, yeah.
Beautiful. Asuri Brava Ashrita. That is the fourth one. What's the third one?
Maya, yeah, something.
Maya Puhrita.
Maya, Prakriti. Yeah. So that's fine. So tell me in English if you can't tell in Sanskrit. I only want the content.
Those whose knowledge is abducted by Maya.
Perfect. And the first are the balance three?
Foolish.
Yes, grossly foolish. Thank you, Sakshi Mataji. That is what Kirti Mataji told in Sanskrit. Perfect.
Fools or asses.
Muda. Yeah, grossly foolish. Hare Krishna.
The people who refuse to surrender to Krishna.
This full category. All four are those who refuse to surrender. So of the two, one she told, right? One is Maya. Somebody is stolen by illusion. Another one is the Muda, foolish. So what is Naradama?
Who doesn't believe in God? Atheist people.
Rest of mankind.
Meat eaters, basically. Naradama. Naramam's
Exact definition what is given?
No.
Is it the less
The lowest of
intelligent?
No, it is basically someone who is very abominable. We also saw an example. What did we see?
Chandala Mataji.
Sorry?
Chandala.
Correct. But the correct word is lowest among mankind. That is what Prabhupada has mentioned. And the example we saw is Jagai Magai. Right? So that is the example. And Maya is like typically the philosophers, right? They fall under the category. And what is the fourth one? Example. Asuram Baba. Asura Babam Ashritam. So who is, give me an example.
Ravana.
Yeah, Ravan. So that and all structure will tell. Hare Krishna. So we saw three types of faith. We saw Neophytes category. We saw non-devotee category. And there's somebody in between, non-worshippers. What is that category? There are three more categories of that.
These.
Atheist only, Prabhu. The whole thing, what we saw is atheist. But close to that, somewhere in between. So that category is, again, I told is three, right? So that category is where one thinks that of the three, the worst of the better of the worst I told is Vishwarupa. Somebody who prays Vishwarupa. Why I'm telling that is because in opulences we will get this. So Vishwarupa is one category which is the better of the worst, right? The second category is someone who mentally concocts, right? He will concoct his own God and he'll perceive. And the third category is he himself thinks he is God. And he makes himself God and he believes that, right? Aham Brahmasmi, I have become Brahma, right? So that's the concept. So these are also, yes, your main name is correct, atheist. And worshippers, we already saw, we are clear. So now moving on to 16 to 25, Krishna is the supreme object of worship. So that how people can reach. And by doing that, what he says very clearly in 9.22, he says he gives the remembrance, right? And he also says that he gives you what you lack and he preserves what you already have. That's a very beautiful shloka, right? 9.22, where he says very clearly this. So now let's move on to 10. So in 10, what does he tell? So there are three divisions only. We will try and cover the first and two for sure. And what is it? Krishna's position as the origin of everything. So Krishna is the origin. How? Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karyam. So basically means that he is the beginning, right? So he is explaining between 1 and 7. The sloka 10 to 8 is called the Chatur Shloka, is very important. Why? Because the entire 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is given in these 4 shlokas. Srimad Bhagavatam also has 4 shlokas because entire Srimad Bhagavatam is only 4 shloka. When Brahma gave this to Narada, slowly it expanded and became 18,000. So Chatur Shloka, Bhagavad Gita has always had 700 verses, of which Chatur Shloka are 4 shlokas, and we will see that in depth. And and 12 to 14, 42, Arjuna acceptance. So basically he accepts Krishna as the superior, and also the opulence of Krishna continues, right? Because he goes on. So 9.34, Krishna at the end of the 9th chapter advises to fix the mind, right? He says, that's what Manmana. So we've seen that. So he's going to fix the mind. After that, what happens? Hence describes his opulence on which a devotee can fix his mind right? Because it's important how to fix he has to tell, right? So he's going to tell that in depth. And when we see the kind of opulence, beauty and all that, we are going to bring in. So what is the conclusion of the 9th chapter? That one should become a pure devotee. Ananya Cheto, like all the time think of him completely. And chapter 10 is now the love letter is written. Now I told you the complete description, right? It's like I have proposed, but then proposal doesn't stop, right? You tell that I have so many cars, I have studied so much, I have done this, you go on. So the first part, 9th part is the emotion part. And the 10th part is the content part. Content, right? You can't tell, I love you, if you tell the value doesn't go. So you have to tell, I love you, but I am not a beggar, I am so and so, right? You will go on with the list. Isn't Siddharth Prabhu there? He's very silent. I thought he will support the love letter. Hare Krishna. Okay, I can't see him now. Hare Krishna. And someone has named yourself iPhone. Please name yourself because I won't know how to call you. Right. So anybody wants to read can have your hand raised because slokas will start shortly. So Krishna's position. Thank you. 2 hands raised. Let me just quickly. Oh, I can't see the hand. Yes. Kirti and Sonal Mataji. Yes, you all can take turns. And third person also. Krishna's position as the origin of everything. And the middle part we saw is the Chatur Shloka, very important, 12 to 42. Arjuna's acceptance and the request to show opulence. Right? So he is going to come. So first one, anyone knowing Krishna as the unborn Supreme Lord and the source of all sages and demigod is undeluded and free from sin. Is split. So let's see what it is. So he's saying between 1 and 3, he's talking about unborn and he's the source of all sages. So we're going to see what it is. Between 4 and 6, all qualities and attitudes free from illusion. Everything. It's a huge list of about 19 qualities are given. We will go through that. Are created by Krishna. Even the progenitors of universe are born from Krishna's mind. And 7 is those who know Krishna's glories engage in service. Why are we doing this? Why are we knowing the opulence? Why? Because then only when you know, okay, I'm so tall, I'm so far fair, or I'm so dark, I've studied so much, I have so much money. These are opulences, right? You say, I am so and so, I am son of so and so, family background, I'm working here as so and so. All this is important because a decision, to make a decision, you need to give the opulence. So Krishna wants you to make a decision to go to him. So he's telling boss, these are the opulences which I have, and by looking, you will get into it. Right? So please go ahead, Mataji, 10.1. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, 10.1. The Supreme Lord said, my dear friend, mighty armed Arjun, listen again to my supreme word, which I shall impart to you for your benefit and which will give you great joy.
Hare Krishna. So he's telling, listen again, Shrunu. So this word Shrunu is so important because Krishna keeps telling, listen, Arjuna, listen, right? So you have to listen. So this is one thing. And he says to my supreme word. And why is he telling which I will impart again? Yeah, why is he going to tell that I'm going to impart this for you for your benefit? Is Krishna benefiting? Because every time love letter in the material world means something, right? It could be, it is mostly the person is very selfish or likes and he wants some work done. So he will put all the words. Whereas is Krishna also having the same thing? And why is he using the word listen again? And why this is for benefit? Can I?
Yes, I can answer, Mataji. Here, through Arjuna, Krishna is trying to convey this knowledge to all of us in the present day also.
Very cute, very nice. So this information is just not for Arjuna, but for all of us. That's fine. And then why again? Why is he saying listen again? And why is he telling it's for benefit? Yes, one benefit is yes, through Arjuna is communicating. Yes, Mataji, you can unmute and tell. That was a nice answer. Thank you so much for full enthu voice. Very nice to hear. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So he's telling listen again because if you see, he already told in the 9th chapter, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Nidam Uttamam, right? So he already said it's a Uttama thing. So yes, he's telling listen again. And why is he imparting? It is not that Krishna is short of staff. He's got so many lakhs and lakhs of Lakshmis to do seva for him, right? It's just, and the material world is basically if you see the combination, 3/4 is material, 3/4 is spiritual world, 1/4, which is 25% only is material world. And they say about 95% of people are there in the spiritual world only. Less than 5% only is in the material world. So Krishna need not be desperate for the 5%, but it's like your child who's gone to the hostel. Even if that child is the 20th child or the 12th child, you will want the child to come, Hare, it's okay, yaar. I have 11 children, how do I care? Is not your attitude. That's the same thing. Now, from the picture, can someone tell me who's in this picture?
Duryodhana,
Mataji.
Arjuna, and Krishna.
Arjuna.
Arjuna and Krishna, Duryodhana.
Krishna is in
Arjuna, who's Krishna?
Is
lying down.
Arjuna is the one near to the feet.
Krishna, Duryodhana and Arjuna.
Very nice. And what there was a Mataji who told sometime back that the whole thing is not for Arjuna, it's mainly for us. So in this picture, yeah, so Mataji, so now everybody else can now go in that same lead and tell me, in this picture, where are we sitting?
They are in Krishna's chamber when both Arjuna and Duryodhan come to request him for the Narayani Sena and Krishna's support during the Mahabharata war.
Yes, perfect. That is so nice. Thank you so much. Now, where are we? Now, assuming that we are a part of this picture, where are we sitting? Where are we in this picture?
We are at
और एक
Krishna's
भाई
feet.
झोले में
sitting near the feet
झोले
of
की तीन
Lord.
पन्नी में
Once again, let me mute. Please unmute yourself because a small kid is asking chole. So, where are we?
Just before the war begins.
Lotus feet of Krishna.
No, where are we?
Near the
Where are we?
lotus
Which side are we? Are we in this side or the side?
We are at Krishna's feet.
Feet of the Krishna.
Okay. So I'll be very happy if we are at Krishna's feet, but factually we are not as yet there, right? Currently we are fighting where to go. We were always like Duryodhana sitting here only. Though we may not feel it explicitly, but this is exactly our position and we are working towards this position. Though, you know, mentally we may feel like the second thing, our jnana says so, but our vijnana will tell that no. Why? We are not the body, we are the soul. Same concept, right? But do we get it? If someone is going to scold us, we're going to get angry, right? So we are still not in that elevated platform. We are at a neophyte level and we are trying to be a devotee. So genuinely, whenever you feel angry, whenever you feel mad, when you're very upset, just think of this picture because are we Duryodhana or are we Arjuna? We may be anything now, but we are working towards going to Arjuna and therefore we have to tolerate, which is what Krishna also tells in 2.14. Mata spashtastu kaunteya sitoshni sukha dukkadaha agama paino anistyas tamshtiga shashvata bharata. So this is a learning for us, right? So that's why I'm spending time on this. So the first one talks about a connection. Let's see the connection. The various energies which we saw, the para energy, superior energy. No, I'm going to ask you all. Now Krishna's energies. How many energies are there? What are they? Chapter 7.
Para and apara.
Okay. And the material world is what?
Inferior energy.
Inferior energy.
Marginal energy.
Correct. Inferior energy, material world. That's perfect. Material world is inferior energy, which is apara, and marginal energy is who? Who's marginal energy?
Living entities.
Yes. So technically we belong where?
Superior energy.
Thank you. Superior energy. So we have to go there, right? That's our place, right? So that he explains about various energies. 7.4 talks about his external energy and 7.5 is internal energies. 9th chapter, Lord establishes different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. What happens? What is the difference there? It's a theory class. 9, it becomes from jnana to vijnana. It's trying to push us, right? What various energies are trying to establish is to have very firm faith in devotion, right? Ananya bhakti. So how you can reach and all that, Krishna explains. And 10th one gives more confidential knowledge of the specific opulences. Clearly, because we will tell all this general, don't tell, I am very good, I am very good. Tell quality, quantity, explain, right? We always tell to the point. So Krishna is going to talk to the point here in the 10th chapter. Right? It's more like, you know, everything put together. As he says, to know, hear. Eagerness to hear is the only qualification. And discourses in the society of devotees, which we are doing, is typically to increase our anxiety towards Krishna and to listen about Krishna. Now, do we have our little Mataji to chant the shloka?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, 10.2 Mataji. Please go ahead.
Yes. Nami vidu sa Prabhavam Namaharshayah Ahamadi Divanam Maharshinam Cha Sarvashah.
Can I, Mataji?
Thank you so much. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead. Hare Krishna. And thank you, Manasa Mataji. So whenever you see the shloka and I tell the shloka number, you go ahead and chant. Okay? Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages.
Yes, very, very important shloka. So he's telling that neither the host of demigods, not the demigods don't know. How? Because we saw in the Brahma Leela, right, wherein Brahma himself did not know. And in the Govardhan Hill Leela, we knew that Indra got confused. So even the demigods never knew, nor the great sages. And we're going to see who these sages are. And they don't know, right? I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Though he is the source, they do not know his greatness. Why is he saying this? So obviously, that means who knows about Krishna? He's going to tell that in the subsequent verse, and therefore that calls for who has to talk about Krishna now. Who is this Mataji sitting here with the hand on the head?
Yashoda?
Devaki.
Devaki Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Manasa. Thank you, Nanda. So it's Devaki when she's carrying Krishna in the womb, and the demigods wanted to come and pay their obeisances. Now, obviously, Devaki is very elevated soul, and also with Krishna's wish, she is able to see, not really see, but then she's able to feel the presence of the demigods. And since she sees that a lot of demigods have come and for paying obeisances, the demigods are whispering and speaking to themselves. Hey, I think Devaki, Mataji is able to see us. She's able to hear us. See means not by the eye, because it's, devatas, demigods have a subtle body, but she's able to feel it. So she's telling, no, let's leave, let's quickly go. So that's a beautiful pastime. It's there in Krishna book also. It will come, I'm sorry, in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, it's in Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is a very beautiful thing. And that brings out this verse. And Prabhu, please go ahead with 10.3. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Mataji. He who knows me as the unborn, as a beginningless, as the supreme lord of all the worlds, he undeluded among the men, is free from all sins. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So he's telling he's unborn, right? And he's beginningless. That's what we say, Adi. He doesn't have anything. And he's supreme, not just here in the world, in all worlds. We already saw in the upper planetary system, middle, lower, this universe, that universe, everywhere Krishna is the top. And he's undeluded among men, right? He's so clear and he's freed from sins, because Krishna is above the Maya. He's Nirguna, right? He is not having material qualities. So, and Maya reports to him. So he is not coming under the boundaries of Maya. So we already saw, right? Krishna is telling there is no duty which is mandatory for me. I don't have to do any duty, but still I do. He reiterates this not just once, but so many times. Even in the 3rd chapter, he brings it, right? Yad yad acharati shesas tattat evetanojna sayat pramanam kurte lokastat anuvartate. I don't have to do anything, but I want to not set a wrong example. 3.2, 4 and 5. He says that I am just being myself and trying to do all the duties, not because I have a duty to perform, but I want to set the right example. So he is just explaining that. And 10.4 and 5 talks about very important qualities. Hare Krishna. Yes, please go ahead and chant. Hare Krishna. Buddhi jnanam aso moha shama satyam dhamma sama sukham dukkham bhavo bhayam cha bhayam evacha ahimsa samata tusti tapodanam yaso yashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva pratagvidaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Each and every quality. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thanks for reading. Mataji, the next, translation you can read. Two of you all told, I just told his name. So next one, 10.6 you can read. Hare Krishna. So Buddhi means intelligence and Jnana is knowledge. Now what is different? The difference is whatever you learn is your knowledge, right? Because what you've learned is that buddhi is application of that knowledge, right? You apply that knowledge, for that you need intelligence. Example, you know very well having a crocin, if you have fever, is going to reduce, fine. But you have use your intelligence and tell, don't, just because you have a fever, don't have crocin because we don't know whether we have COVID or not. Let's go to the doctor and check. Their intelligence plays, right? So that is given by Krishna. Asamoha is freedom from doubt, right? Samoha means doubt. Asamoha means completely zero doubt. Shama, we all know that common word which we want to receive, but we don't want to give, right? There is, this often reminds me of this, right? People say, I forgave you and forgot, you know, long back you made so many mistakes, but I forgive you that day itself, I forgot about it. And you will tell that after 10 years. Then what were you doing 10 years? If you've forgotten, why are you bringing this up again, right? So that is a quality. Satyam, truthful, always be truthful and honest. So that's a point. Dhamma is delusion, right? So Dhamma, what does it mean? Delusion in the sense where you need, it's about controlling the mind. It will come up where? Okay, sorry. Yeah, so basically all this Satyam, truthfulness. Now, what do you mean by truthfulness? Truthfulness is so truthful that you can even tell your enemy the truth. Who is an example of Satyam?
Yudhishthir.
Yudhishthir Maharaj.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's someone who can speak the truth. And moha, I missed that part, delusion, right? So moha means anything, kama, moha, we thought, you know, somebody who's totally perplexed. So Yudhishthira is someone, so truthfulness means so much. And now coming to, Satyam, then we did Dhamma and Sama. So basically both are control. Dhamma means controlling the senses and Sama means controlling the mind. So these two things we need to control. Sukha Dukkham, every one of you all will know, happiness and distress. So I'm going to skip that. And Bhavo, Abhavo means, you know, your birth. Basically birth and death, right? Goes on in the Kala Chakra. Same way, Bhayam, Chabhayam, that also you know. Abhayam, Bhayam means fear, Abhayam means no fear. And Ahimsa. Now, Ahimsa is not just you physically hurting someone, even by words, even by action. So there is verbal, non-verbal. And also in Kali Yuga, luckily, if you think bad of a person, there's no problem. You don't get penalized. But the moment it comes in the form of verbal or non-verbal communication, you have to pay the price. However, whatever you think turns out to be your actions, right? So in fact, there was a psychiatrist, 2 children were taken and a psychiatry analysis was done where the boys were put in 2 different rooms, and one boy was asked to think all the bad things about that boy. And this boy, you know, in terms of all the ECG, everything, had a lot of disturbance. And the boy, afterwards, when he was asked to think all the pleasant thing about the boy, it corrected. So even a mental level, if you think negative, it injures the other person, it injures you also. So remember, always package is dual. Okay, and then now we saw Ahimsa, so that is non-violence, and Samatha. So Sama is treating everybody equally. We already saw, right? So that's the Vidya, Vinaya, Sammanne, there also the same thing comes. Brahmineste, Savi Astini, Suvi, Chaiva Swapakeva, Pandita, Samadarshinaha. The Pandita, Uttamadhikari, treats everyone equally. So there he is bringing Tustis, very satisfied, new word, but very satisfied. Tapo, we will be familiar, austerity. Dhanam, charity. Yaso, yasaha, again paired words, right? Fame and infamy. I just told, I'm not the body, I'm the soul, but then if I scold you, if you scold me, I feel very upset. So we have the jnana, not the vijnana. We have the jnana, but we still don't have the buddhi to understand that, right? Bhavanti bhava bhutana, right? So what all these various qualities of living bhutana, right? So living beings, right? Matta eva pratak vidaha, okay, are created by me alone. So he's saying, who created all this? By me. I am the one who created this. So this one we already saw. Power to analyze, jnanam we saw. Yeah, one more thing about matter and spirit, which I want to highlight here, is about the conversion of matter into spirit. And it's a very important point which I want to tell you is, I told you last class that sound vibration play an important role. What I did not tell you is which sound vibration, right? It's not any pop music. It's like Hare Krishna Ma Mantra is one which converts matter into spirit, which is why, you know, it is so powerful and transcendental, because you are converting the matter, because you're just using the words, but it's just getting converted. And freedom from doubt, we saw this one, right? Without understanding this one, okay, tolerance, okay. So this one, irrespective of insult, you take things calmly. Satyam, speak the truth, irrespective of personal interest. Controlling senses, we saw this last class, right? Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jigva vegam, mudara prashta vegam, etan vega vishayeta dhiraha, sarvam apiman pratimimsa sichyat. Here also dhira is coming. This is nectar of instruction first. 6 things which needs to be controlled. So very clearly he is telling. And control of the mind. Now mind is a friend or an enemy. Now all of you, mind is a friend or enemy today? As of now.
Friend.
Both.
Friend. Both.
If we
Now
do
it's a friend.
good thing, if we think good
If it
things,
is
it's
under
a friend, and if we think bad things, it's an enemy.
Very sweet, Mansa. Very nice. If we think good things, it's a friend. If we think bad things, it's an enemy. Currently, we want to think good things, but we are not able to do good things. We are not able to sit. Anybody who is able to chant 16 rounds without even thinking 1 second, getting diverted. Is there anyone who does not want to chant 16 rounds and who wants to chant with diversion? No one, right? So all of you here, 73 of you want to chant 16 rounds and without diversion. So all 73 includes me. Are we able to chant? Willing to chant is different. Are we able to chant 16 rounds without diversion?
No, not
No,
Mataji.
So if any one person says yes, then that person, I will agree, mind is a friend. So that means mind is not listening to us. Friend means should listen, right? So we want to chant 16 rounds, that itself is dancing. On the top of it, undivided attention, forget 16 round, one mala, 108, we are not able to chant. Though we want to keep mind as a friend, but currently mind is the enemy because we want to do, but we're not able to do, right? So mind is diverting us, right? The moment you tell Hare Krishna, we are running away. So that is the challenge. So what should we do? We have to control the mind by taking the help of Guru, Sadhu and Shastras. And Sukha Dukkam, don't react and overreact because we're all in Krishna conscious and we want to deal things calmly, so we're not going to do. We already saw this one, birth, there is no birth or death for the soul. Fearlessness is very important. Ahimsa, we explained very clearly. And not only that, doing anything which is going to put someone in mystery or confusion is also called non-violence, right? So there's a huge definition of non-violence. So we saw all this charity, and charity, just to highlight nectar of devotion, Rupa Goswami very clearly says 50% of your property, which Sanatana Goswami, his brother, did, is you give it off in charity. 25% he kept for relatives and friends, and balance 25% is for your personal emergency. This is the ratio which is recommended. Of course, we can't do, but at least 0.05% we should think of, right? Fame we saw. Hare Krishna, Manasi, please go ahead and chant this, dear. Hare Krishna.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Mataji. Maharshaya saptapura chatvaro manavasthatha madbhava manasa jata yesham lokaimah prajaha.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Please go ahead, Mataji.
10.6 The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the Manus, progenitors of mankind, are born out of my mind, and all creatures in these planets descend from them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So there are 25 people who will be first born out of Brahma. So they're slowly introducing. But prior to that, what Krishna is telling is there are 7 great sages, Sapta Rishis. And prior to that, there are 4 great sages and the Manus. So all put together, there are 25, which is there in the puppet. Please go through the puppet. And the 4 sages are the small sages, the Sanat Kumaras, right? And the 7 sages. So the 4 sages, Brahma, when he first got, he said, you must, creating the world is very important. And this will come in Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the small boys will tell, no, because they're fond of Vishnu. In fact, they were Brahmavadis. They were fond of the energy of Krishna. But they changed later because the moment they saw the Rupa of Vishnu, they just fell for him. And they got very curious just by hearing. That's why Shrinu is important, sound vibration is important. And that is where they come to the Vaikuntha just to pay visit to Vishnu. Now, what is happening is these small 4 boys, look at Brahma and say, we want to continue to live as children. They are very elevated, very knowledgeable, but they don't want to get into even manhood. So they want to stay away, and Brahma gets so angry, and later after that only, Rudra, our Shiva, gets born. He's got the blue and green color, blue and red color, sorry, mixed, and he starts crying. Rudra also means tears, right? So he's crying, he doesn't know why he's born. And Brahma is so scared, and he says, hey, your name is Shiva, your name is Rudra, and you can do this. And then he started progenerating so many children, and they were all a lot of ghosts and other things, because he wanted to liberate. He's in the tamas quality. Then Brahma says, oh my God, these kind of kids we don't need. So he calls Shiva and says, why don't you go and do japa in the name of Vishnu? And that's the best for mankind. And immediately Shiva agrees and he goes. Now, he also gets the Sapta Rishis, 7 Rishis of this, and they are the progenitors. And of course, Manus who will start generating children. So they are basically for getting the mankind. So that is what he is saying in the 10.6, which we will see in this form. So who is Pitamaha? The grandfather is Brahma. And what is Prapitamaha? Prapitamaha is a father of the grandfather, whose great-grandfather, who's our Krishna. Okay, but he's always Yava Yupvanam, right? He's always young. So that's why it says Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adim Purana Purusham Navayabbanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabha Durlabha Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Hare Krishna, he says in Brahma Samhita, Brahma sings about him. So 4 Kumara, who are they? Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana and Sanat Kumara, right? These are the 4 sons. And who are the 7 sages? Kashyapa is very important of all. Kashyapa Muni son is only our Kapila Muni. Kapila is the one who spoke a lot about Sankhya philosophy, is one of the incarnation of Krishna. 14 Manus, these are the 14 Manus, and we are currently in Vaivasvata Manu, right? And the first Manu is Swayambhuva Manu, sorry. So that's the first Manu, and currently we are in Vaivasvata. We are exactly in the middle. And let's move on to 10.7. And Mini Mataji, please go ahead and read Manasa. And can
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Tam vibhutim yogam cha mam yo veti tattvataha so vikalpena yogena yudhyate natra samshayaha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So beautifully read. And why no Mataji or Prabhu is reading this? Yes, please.
He who knows in truth this glory and power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, unalloyed. So very clearly unalloyed means pure. That means there is something called alloyed, which we already saw, right? We saw there are so many bhaktis called Mishra. Mishra Bhakti means mixed bhakti. We saw Yoga Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti. Krishna says, no, I want unalloyed devotional service, right? That he is very clear. So which picture, this picture, can someone tell me where is this shot? Where is this?
Is this in Dwarka, Mataji?
No.
Mathura.
Yes, yes.
Mathura, Mataji?
Yes, Mathura, because Dwaraka they have not gone. No, this is Mathura. So who are these 2 boys? These 2 handsome boys.
This is Krishna and Balram, and they are leaving Kans.
So why, what is special about them? Where are they entering? They're entering Mathura, but what's the story behind it?
They came for the wrestling match arranged by Kamsa.
Very nice. So who brings them? They come for a wrestling match.
Akrura.
Absolutely. Very nice. Wow. So Akrura is bringing them, but Akrura is a devotee. And why am I highlighting this about Akrura is Akrura is reporting to Kamsa and yet he's a devotee. So if you see, to be a devotee, we don't need to have a comfort zone. Akrura is in a most difficult situation, but he's a devotee. Prahlad is in worse situation, he's a devotee. But look at us. Don't we complain? And at least I complained in the beginning days, definitely to me a lot, and to a few, but mainly to myself, that, I don't have people who are devotees in the house. They don't allow me. They feel I'm too much. They feel I'm getting too involved. They don't give me time to do japa. Yes or no? But look at the story of devotees. They've always been in the midst of atheists, right? We are far better. At least we are not in the midst of atheists. And even assuming we are in the midst of atheists, we are not that subdued that we are stuck, right? We have fought for everything in our life if we want. So if that's what we're saying, Laulyam, our qualification, if we really want Krishna, isn't it not worth the fight? I'm not telling you all to fight, but fight your way. You don't have to literally go and fight with people in your house, but find some way to fight your situation and do not stop chanting, because chanting is a sound vibration which can move you from the material world to spiritual world. And it's like we can afford to fail in love in the material world because that's fine. But in the spiritual world, don't miss this love letter. It's a great opportunity. Is there anybody in this? This is a question which I cannot stop asking. Have you all ever felt at any point in time that you need someone for yourself in your entire life? Is there at least one moment you felt that I need someone for myself? I felt this very strong.
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji.
Yes. Now, women, I always say yes, but I want to know about men. Men, do you all also feel, Prabhuji, that you need someone for you exclusively for yourself?
Yes, Mataji.
Only one Prabhu wants.
Yes, definitely, yes.
Okay, second Mohandas Prabhu, and who's the first Prabhu? I missed it. Reddy Prabhu? No.
Yes, Mataji, it is common for everyone.
Yes. Thank you.
So, I felt.
That feeling that I need someone for myself is universal, but we always think exclusive. So Krishna also, even though is universal, he exclusively gives that feeling and acts and satisfies that feeling because he's the only one who can satisfy. Now, point 2 is everybody's I, right? Including the animal, including the cow, including the cat, horses, the children, the ladies from the terrace. You see, this is a beautiful picture. And every time this picture talks to you, every single thing, every single person's eyes is on Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is so vibrant, they can't take the eyes off. And everybody are able to see Krishna. And sometimes somebody asks, it's a huge city. How is it they are able to see Krishna? Yes, it's a huge city. But it's not having so many concrete buildings like what we are having. This is one scientific answer. But if you need another proper answer, let me just take Kirti Mataji. Kirti Mataji, where are you located now?
In the UK, United Kingdom.
What's the time?
Hold on.
Your time.
20 past 3.
Okay, so 3-4 hours back, you saw sun?
Yeah.
I saw sun too 5-6 hours ago. So how is it possible? She's sitting in UK and she's seeing the sun. There's only one sun. I am sitting right here in India, in Chennai. I'm seeing the sun. And we have, Chitra Mataji sitting elsewhere, and Akshay Reddy Garu sitting in Hyderabad, right? If I remember right. And all of you all are seeing sun. There's only one sun. How is it possible? Right? The same story. So Krishna is one person, but he's present everywhere. And he is there. Hare Krishna. And now we are moving to the most important chapter, which is Chatur Shloka, which is 8 to 10.11. Right? And what is this Chatur Shloka? I want to give a heads up on this. So this is called Sambandha, Abhinaya and Prayojan. What is this? Very heavy term, because first when I heard it was very heavy, so relax. 18th chapter, this is a summary. 8, 9, 10, 11. What is the purpose, right? We said love letter, right? So I'm going back to the same love letter for understanding. 8th one talks about Sambandha. What is the purpose of the love letter? The purpose of the love letter is to have a relationship, right? Yes. Is the purpose of letter to frame it and keep it in the house? Is that the purpose? Yes or no?
No.
Right? So the purpose is to have a relationship. So we have to have a relationship with Krishna. So the 8 talks about Sambandha, right? So the Lord speaks. So 8 to 11, of which 8 talks about Sambandha, 9 talks about Abhinaya. So what does that mean? So it means that it is a process, right? Okay, fine. It's a love letter. It's a first step. So what do you do next? Then you go for a proposal. You follow a process. There are 2 processes. Natural love, you fall for it and come, right? If that is not there, what is the next love? We will at least do sadhana, right? So that's the next step, right? We are following the process. Purpose of it, the process, everything we follow. That is explained in 9. 10 and 11 is finally, goal. Ultimately, what prema for Krishna, right? Going and meeting Krishna. That is the prayojan. The final goal is prayojan, and that is discussed in 11. So 11. So let's see this. Yes. So all these 4 shlokas, does anyone know by heart? Does anyone in the
Can I
team
say,
know?
Mataji?
You
I
know
know
by heart?
Mataji.
Sorry, who knows by heart?
I know Mataji.
Who?
I also know Mataji.
You also know by heart? Manas?
Yeah, Mataji. Yeah,
Okay.
Mataji.
Okay,
I can
then
close my eyes.
Okay, close your eyes. I'm seeing you. I'm watching you. Close your eyes and tell.
Yes.
The Mataji will also close her eyes and tell.
Yes. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartati iti matva bhajanti mam. What is that, Mataji? Next.
No, but you're closing your eyes.
Okay. Buddha bhava samanvitaha. Yes, Mataji.
Very nice. Love you. So nice. So we.
Thank you, Mataji. I
Very
just
nice.
tried.
Very nice. You tried. So now next Mataji. Mataji, please go ahead. I want to hear you sing chant.
Can I chant it, Mataji? Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matvaha bhajante mam buddhabhava samanvitaha.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. I'm so proud of you both. And thank you, Manasvi, and thank you, Mataji. Very beautifully chanted. Okay, so you'll so we'll give a chance for one of the Prabhus to read this. I am. Please read.
Can Mataji?
Yeah, please, Prabhu.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly, what is he saying? He's telling the source of the spiritual world and the material world. Very similar to the 7th chapter, right? He's telling he's the source of everything and everything emanates from him. The add-on is whoever is wise. So he's adding that. Who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So heart is coming. So that means relationship he's establishing, right? So very clearly he's saying why spiritual world and material world. We saw this classification. How is the expansion? So let's understand, since we are in Chatur Shloka, let us understand the expansions of Krishna also. So what is the expansion of Krishna? Just 1 second. I'll stop the screen. Otherwise, you all will be watching the screen and I will also be distracted. So what is the concept? The concept is very clear. So Krishna is telling what? Krishna is the first expansion is Balram, right? And after Balram, Balram expands into 4. I'm repeating it again, 4. Sankarshana, right? Anybody knows?
Prajumna, Aniruddha,
And Narayan.
Vasudeva, right? And this Sankarshan is called Mula Sankarshana, just for understanding and telling. Now this Sankarshana again expands into, so this is Goloka Vrindavan. Straight, now this Sankarshana expands into Narayana and we are entering the Vaikuntha. Now again 4 expansions will come. Who are they?
Shankarshana,
Vishnu, Shirodakashai Vishnu,
Mahavishnu. No, Mataji, not yet. We are still in Vaikuntha. So all Vishnus will come only in the material world. We are in Vaikuntha. So someone told correctly. The same repetition.
Shankarshana, Prajumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva.
Perfect. And this Sankarshana is called what? He's called Mahasankarshana. And from Mahasankarshana and Mataji, what you said, now you can answer. Comes the material manifestation.
Okay, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, Kshirodakashai Vishnu, Mahavishnu.
Yes, so first Mahavishnu comes, then he enters each universe because through his pores, he opens many universes and each universe he enters as Garbhodakashai Vishnu and in each Garbhodakashai Vishnu, in every person he enters as Shirodakashai Vishnu. So that is the speciality of our entire long, story. So this is one. On the other hand, let's get into the primary and secondary creator. Primary creator, this is a process, right?
Do you have a chart for this?
Unfortunately, I don't have. If you all have, please share it with me. I'll enjoy. Thank you. Hare Krishna. But this is in Srimad Bhagavatam only, content, whatever I've taken. And now this is the overall process. Now the smaller version is Krishna. From Krishna, Vishnu is coming. On the left, you have the secondary creator, who is our Brahma. And on the right, we have the destroyer. Why am I telling this? Is many people will take up, right? He is the creator, he is Vishnu. So Vishnu takes the role of the maintainer. He gives the role of secondary creator. How does Vishnu maintain? Because Vishnu enters everybody's heart Or as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, every universe, he creates secondary creator. So Brahma becomes the creator and Shiva is along with Maya Devi enters and then he becomes a destroyer. So this is all the material manifestations, right? So this is what it is. But why do we all think that, many of us think that Vishnu is the most superior person? Yes, because Vishnu is the gateway. Vishnu also can offer liberation because he's also Krishna, right? But the only difference is he's a gateway. So if an avatar has to come and if Brahma and Shiva are not able to manage, it's stopping, right? Shiva has a problem, Brahma has a problem, Vishnu takes stuff. He says, Krishna, I think it's time for bringing one of your avatars stuff. It can be Rama, it can be Narasimha. He goes in and the avatars come down. But since we see only the Vishnu, we feel it's like, okay, work is done. And that's why many people pray and focus only on Vishnu, because current level, we are 99% we are focused material, we can relate. So that's why we get involved with all the gods. But Vishnu is also his tattva. So remember, Vishnu is none other than Krishna, but the only difference you have to understand the original source, right? It's like the original candle and you light the candle, others also carry equal lights. So we saw 10.18 where he's talking about the relationship. Heart is coming, right? All is heart, so relationship. So let's see what is that. Aham sarvasya prabhu, matta sarvam pravartate. Right? So this is what he said, right? He says, I am the source, right? So you know everything, right? Everything is coming from me. I am the source. I am the original source. I worships with all his hearts. What is the result of that? Therefore, he engages in devotional service and surrenders completely. So that's where the relationship continues, right? 10.9. Anyone knows 10.9 by heart?
Yes, Mataji.
Please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Matchit matkata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mama nityam tushchanti charamanti cha.
Thank you so much.
Even I know.
Yes, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Matchitta matga bodhayanta parasparam
Hari Bol. Your voice is in and out, but thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Okay,
Can I,
Mata.
Mataji?
Yeah, so, yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered to me. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss enlightening one another about conversing about me. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly, what is he saying, right? I already told this is establishing Abhinayam, right? So basically this is talking about, we saw relationship, this is talking about the process. So he says the thought of the pure devotees gel in me, right? The purpose and the process so clearly. And what do they do? What is the process they follow? They surrender to me. And they derive great satisfaction and they automatically get bliss. Just conversing, just like you all, right? Though we are not great devotees, we are there's so much of happiness. See, look at this.
No audio, Mataji, for the video.
Very nice, right? So can you imagine at that age, if somebody could dance so much, so you can imagine what it is. So again, now moving on, symptoms of a pure devotee, Krishna becomes his life and soul, and he constantly hears about and discusses, right? So it's a process. So two stages we saw, one is the primary stage and the mature stage. In the primary stage, they release the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. So for example, first we do a Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and then we get involved and we start enjoying. So a classic example is our own chanting, right? Initially we think, okay, we will do, and then we start enjoying. Boha, we will start enjoying, right? Preparing. And the mature stages, they are always situated in love and thus relish the highest perfection. Example is, and it is exhibited. Example is even Arjuna. He's so mature state, he doesn't even chant. So can you tell, and many fools, Mudas, tell that Arjuna never chants. Therefore, why should I chant? Are you Arjuna? So now you understand, right? So these are very illogical mental concoction. So thoughts of the pure devotees dwell in me, such devotees' thoughts dwell. So imagine Krishna went to become a driver. So what could be the level of thinking of Arjuna? Because neither you nor I can go and sit inside Arjuna's heart, but Krishna can. So he knows what is the dedication of Arjuna. We don't. So we can continue to comment, but Krishna will make his own judgment, right? Life is fully devoted to my service. So complete devotion. They derive great satisfaction and bliss, always thinking about me. Only thinking about him makes him so happy. Now 10.10. So anybody who knows? Mataji, do you know? Manasa Mataji, at least you know. Don't know, go ahead and read. You know, please go ahead.
Tesam satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mama upayanti te. Hare Krishna.
Manasvi, you also know, you can tell, otherwise you can tell that, you can read the next one.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
Yeah. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So very nice. So those who constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So he is telling, right? So every time people say, Satata Yuktanam, always, constantly devoted, Yukta, Bhakti, right? Fully. And see, look at how many times he's telling Buddhi Yogam. So I give the Buddhi, I give the intelligence, right? I give them the understanding. How for them to come? So many times people will tell, no, how can I think of Krishna? How do I know? How will I know that Krishna loves me? All this, forget it. He says, I will give the Buddhi for them to come to me. So for all of you here, all of you all, 73 of you all here, Krishna himself has given the Buddhi for you to come. Right? It is not that, okay, I got it. Though Kirti Mataji started the first line by telling Sukriti. Yes, there is Sukriti because we did previous karma, previous punya. We have the Sukriti. That's why we are able to listen to Krishna. But this understanding is given by Krishna himself. Right? So that's a goal. So we are just slowly going. The process is getting finalized as a goal. How? Yoga, when one knows the goal is Krishna, it is still addicted to fruits. That's a problem. In Jnana Yoga, what happens? He knows, but still he knows the roots are there, but he goes into analyzing where the roots are, right? So he keeps speculating. But Buddhi Yoga is alias Bhakti Yoga, is wherein Krishna, when someone clearly knows the goal and seeks completely into Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is acting in Buddhi or Bhakti Yoga. The complete yoga is the highest perfection. Nobody can even come close to that yoga because that's the highest level of perfection of yoga system. Hare Krishna. Anyone knows this? You can go ahead and tell me. Can you chant?
Mataji.
Now please go ahead, ma.
Tesam evanukam partham aham ajnanajam tamah nasayami atma bhavastho jnanadipena bhasvata. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Nicely chanted. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Out of compassion for them, I dwelling in their hearts destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So very clearly saying, out of compassion for them, I am dwelling in the hearts, right? I destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge and darkness born out of ignorance. So Krishna is personally going to land, Cheto Darpana Marjana. What does it mean? Right? This is a beautiful shloka sang by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? He is telling, I'm going to clean the heart. Likewise, what he is telling, that ignorance is there in the heart. How will he remove it? By lamp. Which lamp? By knowledge. He is going to do. Therefore, prayojan, right? Prayojan, final goal. He will ensure that you reach the goal. So you don't have to put any efforts. And many people go on asking, what if I'm in coma? How do we know? How do we know that if someone is in coma, is not thinking of Krishna? We know they are not materially thinking, but you just don't know what the soul is doing, right? Only Krishna can tell. Nobody can tell. Even the doctors can't. So special mercy of the Lord destroys all the impediments and dispels any ignorance in the heart with the shining lamp of knowledge. So he is, bringing and lightening the lamp over there. So beautiful, right? This we will see tomorrow. But I just want to just tell one words, 10.12 to 18. This completely talks about Arjuna's reflections. Arjuna accepts Krishna's position and requests to hear more, right? So this 12 and 13 are very important words. So this is also it's a Arjuna vacha Brahma Parandama Pavitram Paramabhavan Purusham Shashwatam Divyam Adidevam Majam Vibhum. If anybody wants to learn one shloka in the entire Bhagavad Gita, please learn this. If you feel I want to learn just one shloka, 10.12. Not the 8 lines, just the first 4 lines. So I just thought I can give you the bumper offer. Entire Bhagavad Gita, that shloka is fine. Attendance is there, so you can go ahead. We will, what's the time? Is it? So we are past time. So we will do this. There are a couple of presentations besides this I want to do. So I'll just take questions for 5 minutes before I move to the next couple of presentations. Is there any questions? No questions?
Hare Krishna, you had to tell us the story, the continuation of that story 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So I will tell you the story if we have time, but I have 2 more presentations to run. So I will tell, and if we still have time, I will tell you that story, or I can take the story tomorrow. I also have another video to play today, which we just saw, right? Opulence of Krishna. So I can tell the story today and play the video tomorrow, or I can tell the video, I can play the video and tell the story. What would you prefer?
Video, Mataji. Go ahead with the video, Mataji.
Video, okay. So I will, I am going to play that video in 1 second. Prior to this, I also had a particular presentation about Vrindavan Yatra. I hope you all would have packed your bags, and many of you all wanted to do Vrindavan Yatra. I just wanted to take a few minutes and run you through the presentation of the Vrindavan Yatra, because many of you will be keen to go. I will just take about 3 minutes for this presentation, and then I will play the video. The video is a few minute video which talks about whatever we read today, right? Opulence of Krishna, but very beautiful video. I enjoyed. Can you see the screen? Okay, you can't. So Vrindavan Yatra is offered for level 1. Very nice Vrindavan Yatra. Time is March 22nd to 25th. So it starts off with daily Mangalarti between 4:10 to 5:30, and ISKCON, Krishna, Balram Temple, Vrindavan. We have the programs both in the morning and evening. And anyone in this group has come to Mayapur, raise your hand. Otherwise, I will brief you on that. And this Vrindavan Yatra day 1 is so, this is a itinerary. They will start off with Kaliya Leela. It's a place where you will have your Leela. They will also have a satsang where they'll talk about it. Radha Raman Ji temple. Radha Raman Ji is a very, it's Krishna, is called the Radhika Ramana, right? So that is one more versional name of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which we are doing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Here the Rama can actually also mean not Rama, but it can also mean Radhika Ramana. And Radha Shyam Sundar, and Radha Mohan, and Radha Damodar. Why? Because here we just read today, right? We saw about Sambandha, Abhinaya, and Prayojan. These 3 represent that, right? They talk about the Sambandha, they talk about Abhinaya and Pramojan. All 3 are taken care. And so Sambandha, so you can see this one. What is it? Yeah, Nidhi. Okay, this man. The day 2 we are going in. What are we talking about? Shri Barsana Dham, Radharani temple in Barsana. Barsana is the place where she was born, right? And Vrinda Kun, right? That's so nice. We'll see that. And Nand Gayon. So I don't know how to pronounce that though. Day 3, we are going to see.
Gaon, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Shri Krishna Janma Bhumi temple, right? So Mathura, we are going into a most beautiful place. This is where Krishna was born, and Radharani Janmasthan Raval Dham. So this is where Radharani was born. And also Brahman
Mataji, I have gone there.
You've gone there? I have also gone there. Very
nice. Yes, Mataji, it's a very beautiful place.
Yes, so you should
never
tell
like
about
a jail, Mataji.
Very nice. There is this Govardhan Hill, and it's about 14 kilometers. And last day they are planning to do Parikran, which means they will go around the temple by walk. And you have Sham Kund, Radha Kund. Anyone remembers this? Oh, you didn't do. Nectar of instruction. It's very clearly tells that this is very good because than the holy place of Mathura, these kunds are very high.
Yes,
Yes, Mataji, Radha Kund is
Yes,
we
these
saw
are
in
supposed
the
to be
nectar
very,
of
very
yes.
auspicious. And Narasimha temple is there, and Govind Kund is here, Uddhava Kund is there, and Manashi Ganga is there. So please, the cost for the stay, food for the 4 days is, basically from 21st you land and 26th you leave. So the entire cost is only 5,000 rupees per person, right? Boarding, lodging, food, everything, including local transport. But for that, you have to arrive at Vrindavan. From Vrindavan, they will take care. Until Vrindavan, you can create your own ways and means to go. You can take your friends, relatives, per person count is there. So this is what I just thought. It's a great opportunity. I would love to come, but I don't know how my health will permit, because currently I think during the session itself, I'm taking 2-3 breaks to breathe. Beyond this, it's like really exhausting. So if I think I'm fine and I can do this travel, I'll come. I've been to Mayapur and I really enjoyed. Meeting Namanishta Prabhu is so important because Namanishta Prabhu is such an elevated soul, and I've seen him. He sits with us and eats. He comes to all yatras in the same vehicle, there is absolutely nothing about him, no wings. He's IIT Kanpur, and I have seen him so down to earth. There is one thing which I have experienced personally, and I have not told him also as yet. I don't know whether I will ever tell him. Is in Mayapur, we had been to the Srinivas Mat. And obviously we used to chant, but we started early, right? We used to start at 3:30 and we used to do Mangalarti and then go. That was optional, but I used to be a part of that. I used to go there. And then the trip starts and they used to give breakfast. Food used to be so nice, amazing food. Healthy, rich food. You never feel tired after eating that meal. And one thing I noticed is, so when I was in that Srinivas Mat, my voice, right? It's very hard, very rough. So I was chanting. Of course, I was not loud. I was telling it was like, one of those hot afternoons, and I was chanting only. And there was this one more devotee. He was telling that, hey, you're chanting and I want to sleep. I can't catch up with sleep. And they were huge, like there were about 200 of them. I was in one corner and Namanishta Prabhu was in another corner, and he hardly knew me. There is no way he would have even heard or understood. And then I just relocated to one corner. There was no corner. It was all devotee gang only. And he came that side. He wanted to see the mud. He came down and he said, hey, go up and chant. I was so shocked because for a second I was thinking, where do I chant? Of course, you have place the whole day, everywhere you can chant. He just said, go up and chant. There is fan. You can go there and peacefully chant, complete your rounds. I was so shocked. I went up till I chanted. Nobody even entered. It was just coincidental. Nothing is coincidental. Of course, everything is Krishna's mercy. And I, under the breeze, haram say no disturbance. And till I completed my chanting, no one entered. The moment I completed, I'm looking up, everyone started entering because they wanted to visit. He's so elevated that, they say pure devotees really can read. If I go and ask him, he may tell so many things. So I've decided not to tell, but this is devotee association. He is so down to earth that he can sleep on the ground, right? Without a pillow, on the mat, on the floor. So this kind of a thing is very difficult. Very difficult. We can do maybe for 1 day, 1 hour, but that kind you can't know. It's so difficult because we're used to so much luxuries, and he's from IIT. So can you imagine? So it's not that he's in a very different families, but no, he's like any of us. But that's his thing. He does not have a bank balance. Everything is dedicated to his content, right? So that is the thing. And he never speaks himself. He never speaks high of himself. He never says he's very scholarly, but he will never bring that out. He's very intelligent. He will not bring. He sits down and does presentation. We were working in the evening on day 0 presentations for level 1, right? He sits and personally does. It's not like, he delegates, right? Today corporates, we delegate. So even in my corporate, I thought I'll delegate. Very good on that one. But he sits down and with the people he does. So even associating with somebody like this is very important. So my only request is, Vrindavan is a place where they say, unless Krishna wants you, you can't go. It's an opportunity. Krishna wants you. We are reading love letter. Make use of the opportunity and please go. I would love to visit again. I've already visited. I would love to visit again if my health is even half better than what I am now. So we are keeping this to the last day. So I wish each one of you make use of this opportunity, right? Any doubt, you can definitely coordinate with Nandita Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Are you playing the video, Radhika ma'am?
Yes. I'm going to still this once.
Stop the recording.
So that Vancha kalpatarupyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha pattabhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Some question. Attendance is there. Please go ahead. Yeah, you Manasvi, you can unmute. How can we say that if we want to learn only one shloka from Bhagavad Gita, you told 10.12, what is the sequence? Why is it that particular shloka? Because that answers everything, and I'm going to explain that to you tomorrow. So anyway, just to answer your question in one line, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma. What does it mean? Param Brahma. Brahma, we are also Brahma, soul. Param Brahma, you are the highest. Param Dhamma, your abode is highest, spiritual abode, right? Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, right? Pavitram means everything is pure. Everything is so nice, right? Paramam Bhavan, right? You are the supreme of all. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam. Purusham, you are the only Purusha, and you are eternal and permanent, right? Adi Devam, you all know Adi Devam means from the beginning he is there. Ajam Vibhum, he is always having all the vibhutis and he is the best. So this particular shloka is considered the best. I'm not telling every shloka, 700, all of them, including starting from what, Dhritarashtra Uvacha, which is the first shloka. Everything is Pavitram because this is a song of God. One shloka, this is offered as a prayer because you can pray to Krishna telling Param Brahma, you can tell him because this is a complete surrender of Arjuna. He says that I am completely surrendering to you, and tomorrow I'm going to explain this shloka so you will understand more of that. And this is for people who have to start somewhere. Some people will be like me, where we are too far away from shlokas and we have somewhere we have to start. So that's the point. Hare Krishna. Attendance form, 46 of you all have filled against 73 technically. So please, rest of you also fill. And Neeta, thank you so much. Beautiful explanation, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Okay, marginal energy. Perfect. That was an answer. Yeah. So any other thing? Oh, acha. Yeah, you had a question. Wonderful, Mataji from Vijay Kumar. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nice video. Yes, I enjoyed the video, Mohandas Prabhu. And thank you, Mataji, for a good session and good explanation. No words, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sunil Kumar Nair Prabhu. Even I enjoyed the session. I think as we go, especially the second module is very interesting. Thank you, Mataji. Great section. Yes, Preeti Mataji. Thank you so much. Attendance set again. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the class. Looking forward for tomorrow. Me too. Looking forward for the class. Hare Krishna. It's 9:20. And very quickly, Nandita, what was the story which I was supposed to tell?
Bilva Mangal Thakur 1.
Oh, part 2 is still hanging. Okay, we will.
Prequel.
Yeah, part 2 of Bilva Mangal Thakur. Yes, I will definitely tell. And thank you for the class. Yes. Thank you, Nandita. Yes, looking forward. Anu, thank you. Yes, Neeraja.
Mataji, one question.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yes, please go ahead.
Can you repeat that percentage, Mataji, which we have to spend on charity and relatives?
50% of the total, whatever we have funds, it's told by Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion, you give away in charity. Out of the balance 25% charity means we are not talking about, it's mainly whatever we are talking about is about Krishna conscious, right? So for spiritual reason. And the balance 25% you give to your relatives, and the balance 25% is what you hold for you.
25% charity, 25% relatives, 25% for us, and
charity. 50% you give away for, when here whatever he's talking about is more religious charity, right? So it's not charity means, which we are going to see in 17th chapter. What is charity in the mode of passion, mode of goodness, and in the mode of ignorance mean? Here he is talking about charity means very religious charity, Krishna consciousness. And the balance 25%, you'll have balance 50, na? In that half, 25% will be for relative, another 25% for ourselves. Difficult, no, but they've done it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Did you answer Manasri Mataji's question? I
Yes,
went to answer the door, so I didn't hear it.
I'm going to repeat this same thing tomorrow in detail, because tomorrow only we're going to discuss that shloka. So I will, if you can wait, tomorrow I'll be able to explain completely. So that will make.
Yes, no problem. I went to answer the door, so I don't know if you did.
Oh, no problem. I did answer, but I'm going to repeat that again tomorrow in any case. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Because we didn't touch that shloka. Because today we have this yatra as well as we have this video I wanted to share. So you had a glimpse of what are the various opulences which we are going to see tomorrow, right? So that we'll do that. So I think we are done. Is there any question? Otherwise, I'll end the session.
Done, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Nandita Mataji, you only have to finish and we'll end the session. Before that, Hare Krishna. All of you, one loud Hare Krishna and let's end.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, thank you very much.